Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whoever you are lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushcron Blitz, and today we are having a look at a tank, a review tank, a tank that we're going to talk about how to play it, what it does well, what it does badly, and why you're going to be playing it. Now, this is the SP1C. It is a Tier 7 German light tank. If you want to get the RU251, well, you're going to have to get the SP1C. That's just how the cookie crumbles. As always, this is a patron-sponsored post. Patron is how we keep the lights on, the lampshades stocked, and ready to roll. And basically, this is a really, really great little tank still. It's not overpowered. It was overpowered a long time ago. Then it was fairly solidly balanced, a little bit more strength in the cup of tea than was probably necessary. But since 3.5, it's well and truly come back to the pack. Now, the SP1C is ultralight, has absolutely nothing holding it down on the ground. Power slides all over the joint, goes like the absolute clappers, and is big enough to fit in the pocket. It's tiny. It has absolutely no armor. In fact, one of the most fun things in an SP1C is driving around, loading HE, and shooting other SP1Cs with HE for huge amounts of damage. Your armor profile is negligible, but look at the size of the thing. Even up against a T43, which everyone knows is not exactly a Godzilla of a tank, the SP1C is absolutely diminutive. And there's a good reason for that, because it's super mobile. It really can get around the traps, and that's important when you don't have any armor. It has excellent camouflage, and the gun has a solid alpha loadout on it. That's where the issues really start, though, for the SP1C. There was a recent patch, which probably everyone knows about, because the last two videos I've done have been about penetration values and nerfs and all kinds of things. And it's the reason why I'm doing another review of the SP1C. It was long overdue. The SP1C originally came out the doors blazing. It was an absolute stone cold killer. And one of the things the tank has always had going for it that I think was absolutely gorgeous was the fact that you had a 2-second load time between the two shells in the clip. And that was really, really important, because what it allowed you to do was fire like that from stealth and then fire another one 2 seconds later. But the recent patch 3.5 really screwed with that dynamic. And you're going to see a couple of examples during the gameplay where it just absolutely sucks. You can't do that anymore because it is such a lightweight tank, and you now have to wait for an enormous 3.5 seconds between shells. Now, people have been up in arms about some of the penetration dips, namely that you've dropped heat rounds from 250 to 200, which is rough in itself, and 180 to 160 on your AP. And you can see here I'm going to fire HE into the back and then fire more HE in there, and just absolutely pound the poor bugger. But that's not the biggest issue. It's not even close to the biggest issue. The biggest issue you're going to find is this. Look at this. Fire one. Now you've got to wait 3.5 seconds. So I'm going to get hit reversing here. Now in the old days, that would not have happened, because it would have been 2 seconds and I would have been back down the hill before I could take that round. It doesn't mean that the tank doesn't work anymore. It just means you've got to be such a sneaky bugger that you've really got to think the skill wall has risen remarkably. And you can see I'm using HE here and doing much higher damage to this opposition SP1C than he can do for me. And then I'm climbing back around like a little water bug. I mean, it's so mobile. Look at it go. Just setting up for the shot here. Gone to AP because I know I need 2 shots. He's rushing and we get the second. It's a sneaky machine. It really is. The penetration nerf hasn't really affected it. It's not the penetration nerf that's the issue with this tank at all. The huge nerf has been the extra 1.5 seconds, which is a 75% increase to the time between shells. And I'm not sure why that was deemed necessary, because I think with the penetration nerf, it would have been just enough to keep this tank under wraps. Maybe a ½ second add-on to the time between shells. You see, the LTTB got balanced like this. It lost penetration and it also lost a little bit of DPM. But I'd much rather see a longer reload time between the 2 shots and have the 2 shots work, because you can see in the gameplay, I'm going to show you a couple of games now, and it's very straightforward. I just play this thing like a dastardly, sneaky, nasty little pest. And this is tier 8 game again, and it's a tier 8 game where I'm doing my level best to not get hashtag deleted. So I've had enough of a whinge about the pen nerfs, because whether you like them or not, it doesn't change the fact that you're going to have to play the tank if you're going up this line. And you can see, again, that time between clips. I just tried to hang in there for it, had to pull back out, had to reset again now so that I can then go back up the top once the camo's sorted and try and do the whole thing over again. But you're going to see an IS-3 Defender is going to turn up in a tick. And that is not something I want to be messing with. And this is one of the reasons why they nerfed pen, because a lot of people would just switch to heat and sit around and actually go frontally against this IS-3 Defender, which was a stupid thing to do, especially in a tank like this. And it's one of the reasons why, I know I don't want to talk about the nerfs, but this tank wasn't really the issue. The SP1C is an excellent vehicle, and I have a great win rate in it. I've had a lot of good games in it. But the reason it works is because of tactics like this. I know that Defender's there. I figure out he's going to come up here. I'm 160 meters away and he doesn't see me till I fire. Like, that's a hell of a good camouflage package. And that is how you play it. I saw a target. I reset my camo. I bolted around the back of the map with excellent camouflage, waited for him to pop up, and he didn't see me until I actually got to within 160 meters for a side shot on a tier 8 nasty heavy. And that, boys and girls, is how you play light tanks with no armor. And it's why I've never really understood the whole whinge about the pen nerfs and everything else like that, because if you use your brain in this game, you'll be doing a whole lot better than you would if you were just relying on good penetration values. If you've got them, great, that's wonderful stuff. But the SP1C doesn't have the armor to rely on taking penetration shots from the front of tanks. You cannot have that kind of action and get by. And you can see here, I'm with Swiss Cheezel, and we are down the bottom, and things get pretty grim here. And again, this is another one. Shot, spotted, 3.5 seconds. Have to pull back. I mean, that right there is the key for me. That is what's really limited the effectiveness of the tank. You now have to play out of your absolute cotton socks to be good in this thing. And there's a rule. There is an absolute rule here that I run with the SP1C now. It's if you're spotted and you're taking fire, reset your camo and leave and move. And if there is an opportunity to flank, take it and absolutely get the hell out of there, because you cannot afford to hit point trade in this tank. You don't have the hit points, you don't have the armor, and you don't have the penetration values to guarantee a shot. So why would you sit in front of an IS? Instead, you're going to see me go a long way around, reset my camo, and Barney up here. And the IS won't see me until it's too late. And there you go. He spotted me just as I got to the tree, to the house, and I'm past. And I'm now going a fair bit away because I'm still on the radar here. And I actually want to be away from targets when I drop. And that's exactly why I'm going so wide, because then even if they're setting up for me, they can't actually see me. I'd like to hit that Comet because I think he's a bigger danger, but he's not going to give me an easy shot. There we go. Get one into him. AP rounds, no problems with the pen. The tank just needs to be played efficiently and intelligently. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We don't have armor. This is an SP1C. Stop treating it like it's an LTTB. Don't, for God's sakes, treat it like it's a well-armored tier 7 medium. You have to play this, and it's been said by Unicums and everyone else before, till time immemorial, you have to play this tank like it is a one-shot. Like every single shot you get is going to kill you. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm actually attracting, and the Comet doesn't have great rear gun depression, so I'm trying to stay behind him, and we do that. We just get through there. We've actually turned this into quite a solid win, and it was looking very, very grim for quite some time there. And now we're going to finish up with this IS down the bottom. Now, that's pretty much SP1C tactics in a nutshell. You don't always have the opportunity to do the reset camo and flank move, but you should be taking the opportunity to do it whenever you can. Sometimes, and you'll note too, a lot of these are tier 8 games. Sometimes you just have to get up there and use the mobility of the tank and the size of the tank, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. Now the Drac is a fast tank, but it's a bloody massive tank, and it's only got medium tank camouflage, which means it's got a nice on the move camouflage rating, but it doesn't have what the SP1C has, which is light tank camo that is at full strength while doing 70 kilometers an hour or 7 kilometers an hour. So we are able to leverage that camouflage into shots over here that the Drac and the rest of them just cannot deal with. And once we drop off the map, we could be anywhere 10 seconds later. We literally have speed, mobility, and size that becomes an absolute train wreck to deal with for a big, slow, cumbersome, heavy tank. And you can see that IS is there. He's relatively mobile for a heavy, but what he's not is able to track multiple targets with very quick turret traverse and track traverse all at once. And we're also quite small, so we're able to squeeze into these nooks and crannies, show just a tiny slither of tank, and then hit. And that's what we keep doing. We keep loading up, pulling back, getting shots, and then rolling in without exposing ourselves to either that SU or the Dracula. And we've had heaps of shots from this little spot over here on the map without taking a whole heap back. The crumbling flank is going to be an issue for us. Swiss Cheesel's taken a couple at the front there, and he's had to move right to the back. There's the SU, and he's gone. We're now going to move up here, trying to get shots on the Drac, no go. So we're going to move right around the map here. Now, very, very quick, look at the acceleration go on this little SP1C. And once you're rolling 60 kilometers an hour, it's a very hard target to hit. And we make sure we slow down far enough to ensure getting contact there and finish off the IS. Things are looking a lot nicer here for us. The LTTB is an issue and is a very, very fast tank. That RU251 likewise is absolutely grease lightning, and we don't want to get stuck on a flank where we are the front runners. You can see the whole time I'm playing this tank, guys, I am relocating, I am moving, I am always rolling about the joint. You don't have to sit still, and because you are also running an autoloader, you don't have the worry with having to run adrenaline. You can run this as an autoloader with engine boost and absolutely maximize it. And that's what we've done here. We've burned across, we're burning around. We just want to get that KV5 isolated. He's the biggest issue. The Dracula's gone back around. He's going to have a crack at us in a sec, and as such, we get a very nice lucky bounce there. We're going to finish off the Drac. We're taking our time to make sure of this last shot. There we go. And now it's just the KV5 to deal with. And we're going to be very, very aggressive here, because basically I feel like I can deal with the KV5 a lot better, and then I can make sure that I've leveraged my mobility and the KV5 focusing on me to use my teammate, the Tiger 2's gun, and actually put the lion's share of the damage in, because I don't have fantastic pen, and I'm just trying to keep him tracked up and stationary for this Tiger 2. And that's exactly what we're doing, going round and round and round. The KV5 is doing a really good job here. That's actually really well played. You see he's got to the rock, but that's fine. He's got to the rock so that I can't keep going around him. All well and good. Well, I'm only going to come out then when I've absolutely got a shot on you, and otherwise you can stay there on your own, because I don't want to waste heat. That's all there is to it. And that's the SP1C, guys. I hope you've taken a little bit of a leaf out of that. That is for all light tanks. Get spotted, have people frontally in real trouble in front of you, stuff it, move, get up and move. Do not be visible. Your job is not to tank damage at the front of a game. And if you're saying it's a rubbish tank, you're wrong. It's not a rubbish tank. It is more than capable of being an equal contributor in any good team win. It can spot targets, it can move to flanks, it can get easy shots. Is it a super powerful carry tank? Well, no, it's not. Was it ever? At times it was very close when it first came out, and I know that it was really the only light tank on the block, and that was a reason why it was so strong, because at tier 6 having a light tank and tier 7 having a light tank back in the day when you were the only light tank was amazing. But now there's dragons, there's LTTBs, And you see these kind of tanks all the time, and there's a lot of them in the game, and as such it can be very, very difficult to dominate. You often have a counterpoint on the other team who is a light tank who can do the same kind of things you can, except they've got much better armor in the case of an LTTB, or they're just a bigger hit point pool and a much harder hitting shell, like an RU-251 or a T-54 lightweight. So that's the SP1C. I hope you enjoyed that vid, guys. It's certainly not a tank to throw your hands up in the air about, but it is a very high skill ceiling tank. I would suggest it is not an easy tank. You've got to be very, very situationally aware, because you can absolutely get one shot by any and all tanks out there who have big 150mm HE guns. They will pulverize you. And you cannot tank damage. You cannot hit point trade and take shots with any degree of certainty, because a lot of tanks, like if they've got a 120mm gun and load HE, they can two-shot you, which is just as little fun. So look out for the SP1C. If you do get to it, it's a nice tank to drive. I enjoyed it a lot back in the day. I still enjoy driving it today. It's not the easiest drive, but it is a rewarding drive, and it can certainly, in the right situations, have the upper hand on an awful lot of tanks. I'm Bushcon Blitz. Look after your families and stay safe on the battlefield.